Let's talk about it. "365 days." A lot of you people are probably asking, what does that even mean? Why'd you start the video like this? Why aren't you out camping? What are you doing? Why does the title say I posted for 365 days when in fact I haven't on YouTube? For all those people that follow me on here, thank you so much for following me. If you follow me on my Instagram and TikTok, you probably know that I have been posting every single day on the day, every single day for the last 1 year straight. So 1 year ago today, I made it kind of a point to myself that I needed to get a little more serious about social media, and I needed to get a little bit more serious about really diving into my passion and showcasing it to the world. Well, for one, my passion, for those that don't know, is filmmaking. I love going out, I love creating films like this for you guys. It is one of my favorite things on earth, because 30 years, 40, 50 years down the road, when I can't be doing this as often and I want to look back at myself and see all the cool things that I did, I know I would have wished that I filmed everything I did so I can rewatch all of that, because I know my memory, I don't know about yours, sucks pretty bad. Anyway, so the whole point of me coming out here today is just to literally talk to you guys about my experience from posting every single day. This is going to be one of those videos that I'm not going to cut like crazy. I'm not going to try to keep your attention. If you want to watch this video, you're more than welcome to sit with me, and I'm just going to kind of go through all of the things that I've learned through this 365 days of me posting every day. If you just you don't care about watching and you just want to listen to it, feel free. Put it on your phone and just kind of let it play in the background. This is going to be mostly an informational video than anything. Also a little bit of inspiration, just because that's just how I am and that's who I am. I like to inspire people to chase their dreams and chase their passions. So one of the biggest things for me, right? So 365 days ago, I became super serious about this. I told myself that I'm gonna need to start somewhere, and it was at a point in my life to where I was posting maybe 3 or 4 times a week. If that. I mean, maybe like two, maybe once. There were times when I didn't post at all. And at the very beginning of this, on Instagram specifically, so if we put down, this is a little bit janky, so this is, just bear with me here, but on Instagram alone, right, I started with 1,700 followers. I don't know why I put this squiggly here. 1,700 followers. That was it. 1,700 followers. It was all a bunch of friends, people from high school, people that I knew, a couple people that, you know, wanted to follow the pictures I was posting about the 4Runner and just kind of random stuff. 1,700. That's pretty average. I mean, usually you see most people have right around there. And then I became serious. And I would say probably a week or 2 into posting every day, I kind of set a goal to post for 30 days straight. And a week or 2 into that, I had my first reel. My first reel hit 80K. So one of my first reels that I posted, probably on day 8 or 9 or something like that, I can't remember. It was an ASMR type video of me just doing like some camp setup. Basically the exact same thing I did on YouTube. I took that footage and I just threw it into a reel format, like a 30-second, 45-second video, and it started blowing up. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I was getting so much attention I couldn't even believe it, and I'm not used to that. Like, I'm not used to throwing videos up and them actually working out, you know. And it was kind of wild. So I was like, wow, this is interesting. And I started doing it a little bit more. And after 30 days, I went from 1,700 followers to about 15,000 followers. So I nearly 10 times the amount of following that I had. So there's a specific reason why I'm telling you this. It's not to brag. It's not for me to rub this in your face. It's not for me to say, ha ha, I did it better than you. And I know some of you may have done the same. And for those that don't really care about social media, that's okay too. I'm really glad that you're here listening to this. This is going to turn into something different. The big thing right now, the reason why I wanted to tell you this was because anything that you want in life, as long as you're intentional about it, as long as you genuinely have the passion for it, as long as it is something that you've wanted to do and it burns within your body and your soul, as soon as you start being serious about it, you will start seeing results. And they may not be as crazy as this, because this is bizarre. This doesn't happen. This is unreal, okay? And this is not even the beginning, or this is just the beginning rather. This is not everything. We'll get to that in a second. But the main reason why I wanted to start here was because it took 30 days for what I was doing to come back and say, hey man, this is what you're meant to do. For me personally, all it took was for me to start. It's always the beginning. It's always the beginning that's the hardest part for anybody and everybody with everything. If you want to be a bow hunter, if you want to be a professional swimmer, if you want to be, I don't know, really good at being a businessman or an entrepreneur or whatever it is, you just have to begin. That is one of the craziest concepts for people to really truly grasp, because they think beginning is, oh, okay, I'm going to start forming this business. I'm going to start putting this into a spreadsheet, and I'm going to really start like getting everything, like I'm going to start actually making things happen. Well, the problem is, and what usually happens with most people, is they start here and they get really excited and they maybe do it for a couple days and they don't see direct results. They don't see results within a couple days and they say, okay, well, you know, I don't really want to do this anymore because I'm not seeing results. It's the same thing with going to the gym, right? When you go to the gym for the first time in a long time, you don't see results right away. And on top of that, you're fatigued, you're tired, you can't do as much as maybe you used to or you thought you would. So you get really burnt out really fast. Here, this middle section from the day 1 to the day 30, that middle section right there is the most important and crucial thing to get you jump started on building that passion of yours. It really is. For you to hone in and to do something every single day, non-stop, like it is your job, like you go to a 9 to 5 every day because you have to, you make this because you have to. You start whatever you're doing, whatever that burning thing is in you, you start it today. And as long as you continue on that path and you keep up the consistency, things will start to slowly work out. Now, this is an anomaly. It is an anomaly to go, if you're looking into social media or you want to like create a business on social media or whatever it is, and you're trying to follow in my footsteps by posting every single day. This might not happen to you. It might, and it might even do crazier than this. But what happened to me on social media is, in my opinion, and a lot of other of my friends and peers' opinion, an anomaly. But I think there's a reason for that anomaly. Before I started, I remember a time when I was out camping with a bunch of friends, and we were all out, and it was before I even started all of this, and I was filming a YouTube video, and it was during a huge event, so there was a bunch of people there. It was at the GFC event last year. There was a bunch of people there, and I was filming a YouTube video, and I was kind of segregated, kind of doing my own thing, because I was the only one doing it, right? And so many people, everybody came out to me like, hey, what are you doing, man? What are you doing over here? Hey, come hang out. And I'm like, hey man, I'm just filming a YouTube video. I'm trying to get really serious about this. This is something I want to do, and this is a cool event. I'd love to film this. And everyone was like, oh, okay, cool. And then just like walked away, and that was awesome. The one conversation I had that kind of changed my mind about all of this was one person came up to me with the camera, and he was asking me, and he was like, what's your plan? Like, what do you want to do, and why are you doing it? And so that made me think. And I really just told him right there on the spot, I said, all I want to do is film everything and anything all the time. And that is my passion, to film everything and anything all the time. And he's like, how are you even going to manage that? Don't you work? I'm like, yeah, of course I work. But outside of work, I have time. And that time is going to be devoted and dedicated to this 100,000%. And he kind of, bid me a good luck and, half-heartedly but respectfully walked away as if, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. And at that point, I told myself, it really does need to happen, because people don't really actually care. People don't care what you're doing with your life. People don't care about, your goals and achievements for the most part, right? The only person that really cares, that really, really, really appreciates everything that you do for yourself is yourself. That is the number one person that should be appreciating every single thing that you do. So for me, I started off by having this burning passion of just making it happen for myself. It was the only thing I thought, slept, ate, drank, breathed. It's everything I did all day long was come straight from home. I would eat food for about 10 minutes and then I would go straight to this. And I would be literally on either my computer editing or filming something new until 2 or 3 in the morning, wake up at 7, go to work, recycle every single day. And that was for the first 30 days. The first 30 days were the most crucial. And that is why I'm trying to make such a huge point on these first 30 days. I think it was said somewhere, it's somewhere in the 20s, 23, 24, something like that. It takes 23-ish days for you to develop a habit, for you to develop something that you just assume to do every single day. And for me, it was right around that time. It was right around 20 to 30 days was for me, this is something I'm going to do every single day. It hasn't been too much of a problem. It's kind of pushed me to go out my comfort zone a lot, and I like that. So what did I do? I hit 15K, and right there, I could have stopped. I could have been like, man, I hit above 10K. This is crazy. I can slow down. No. Right there, I realized there's momentum. And momentum's another hugely important thing when it comes to anything you're doing. When you start that passion for 30 days and you actually do it for that entire time period, and you're slowly gaining, you're slowly learning and you're slowly gaining all this momentum, you cannot stop. You have to keep going. And it's really difficult. It's one of those things that gets to you really bad because you don't understand or see the end goal. There's no end goal in sight. There's no end to the tunnel. You don't really see a light. It's just one of those things that you just have to know within yourself that if I do this for an entire long length of time, and for me in my head was a year, my time was, if I do this for 1 full year straight, next year on the same day, I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, wow, look at all the progress I've made. Because there's no such thing as no progress if you're trying, right? So for me, that was the biggest number one thing, was continue on, keep the momentum going, and let's see how far we can take this. So we took it from 30 days, okay? And we'll put this down here. This was 30, oh my gosh, this is horrendous. As you can tell, it's like the first time I've written sideways. I don't educate very often, but I do like doing this. Okay, this was 30 days. This was day 1. Day 1, day 30. Okay, now if we fast forward a lot and we go to, let's say 90 days. 90 days. At about 90 days, I think I just hit 100K at 90 days. And like I said, this was insanity. To go from 1,700 to 100K in just 3 months is unheard of. It doesn't happen. It's one of those anomaly things that it's very strange. And like I said, once again, this is not a bragging thing. This is me trying to teach you. This is me trying to kind of just tell you what happened. Everything I was posting was working. Everything I was posting, people were enjoying. And at this point, I looked back and I said, why are people liking this? And one other person another time told me right around probably the 45-day mark when things started working out. He called me and said, hey man, it's really cool seeing that things are working out for you. There's one thing I want to warn you of though. Make sure you don't get famous for the wrong reason. This is crazy important, and this goes with everything. When you are trying something so hard, when you're really, really trying to make things happen, specifically on social media, what you don't want to do is be putting things out there that doesn't represent who you are. Because when you do that, there's a couple things that happen. Number one, you lose track of your own personality. You kind of lose who you are in and of itself, because you're starting to create this facade of yourself online. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of instances that it makes sense to do that, and it's totally fine, like comedic stuff and a lot of comedy people on TikTok and whatnot. But in general, for a lot of things, especially serious things, you want to be personal. You want to like have a personal touch, and everybody talks about niche, right? Everyone's like, oh, how do I find my niche? Like, what do I do to get a niche? I want to have my own thing amongst the crowd. There's 8 billion people in the world, and all of them are trying to compete for the same thing. How do I set myself apart? Well, you're different than every single one of those 8 billion people. So just be yourself. Be yourself. And if people like it, it will work out. It just does. And that's the same thing with anything. If you just try and you just be 100% authentic, and you don't try to push this facade of yourself, and you just really try to be yourself, things start to work out. It worked out for me. And really all I was doing was kind of just being myself. And a lot of the stuff I was doing, taking that footage from my YouTube videos and putting it into a reel and really just putting my own creative spin on it. And meanwhile, the whole time, it's all because of what I like to do, which is going out camping and overlanding and hanging out with friends and stuff. Being yourself is a hugely, hugely important thing. So, real quick, I'm gonna fast forward this just a little bit so you're not sitting here listening to me say the same thing. I'm gonna show you some analytics. I'm gonna kind of just like spread out some analytics here. Okay, so here are some analytics. So to fast forward to today, which is 365 days. You know, we talked about 30 days, we talked about 90 days. One thing that I didn't mention about 90 days was it's very difficult to get to 90 days. 90 days is when you go through, not withdrawal, but you go through burnout a couple times in between your 90 days. Eventually you'll find a spot somewhere in there where you're like, man, dude, I really, really don't want to do this tomorrow. And if you can get through those points within that first 90 days, you can sail to 365 no problem, because you are going to get to those points to where you are like, dude, I do not want to wake up. I do not want to go to the gym tomorrow. I do not want to go to swim practice. I don't know why I keep talking about, maybe because there's a river right here. I don't want to do what I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow or today. You have to get over that. You have to get over that. Unless there is a reason why you can't do that thing, you have to overcome that thought and you have to just make it happen. So from 90 days to 365, I had probably about 5, 6, maybe even 7 times where I was like, that's it, it's over. And there were plenty of times where I, not willingly, but almost couldn't even post the day of, right? Either like Instagram was down, or you know, I've been traveling a lot lately, so internet is kind of spotty sometimes. Before I had Starlink, like there was a lot of things that made it really difficult for me to make it happen every single day. But I can proudly say, within these 365 days, I have posted every single day without missing one day. And I keep reiterating that because it's so important to me. Not missing a single day has been such a huge achievement for me that it really is absolutely mind-blowing. And now I kind of want to like showcase what's come of this. So 365 days ago today, which today is October 14th, which we still have smoke in the air. That's cool. That was an eagle. Dang. We still have smoke in the air, which is crazy, being mid-October, and it's also 76 degrees, which is also crazy. But a year ago today, in 2023, this is when it started. On Instagram, I had 1,700 followers. On TikTok, or we'll just go one by one. On Instagram, I had 1,700 followers, and today I just hit 400,000. 400,000. It's ridiculous. We're gonna get to that in a second. TikTok, I started at about 23,000 before this. I was at 23,000 because I had a couple of videos back in like 2020 blow up that were just like about my dog. Kind of funny videos about the dog. They went super viral, and I gained a little bit of following from that, and then I stopped doing that. I stopped doing it, right? Imagine if I kept going that route. My dog would be famous. All I'm saying is, right? So TikTok, I had 23,000. Today, I have 310,000 on TikTok. And YouTube, my absolute favorite thing about this whole thing, which is the smallest change, but one of my favorite things, I went from 300 YouTube subscribers on here to 18,500 plus. I'm almost at 19,000. For that to even happen has blown my mind way more than anything in the world, because YouTube is it's probably, in my opinion, one of the hardest social media platforms to really grow on. So for that to grow so big, in my eyes, in such a short period of time is amazing, and I'm really, really excited for what's coming next. Right now I'm filming the video from me going out to go see all the fall colors in Utah, Colorado, and the Tetons. So that's currently under development. It'll probably be out next week after this video is posted. So watch out for that, because that video is absolutely insane. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever made so far, and I'm not even like halfway through it yet. So anyway, first of all, if you are watching and you are a subscriber, thank you so much. If you are watching and you're not a subscriber, thank you for watching. Thanks for being here and just learning, right? On Instagram and TikTok, for those that don't know, I like to post a lot of inspirational stuff. I like to get people motivated. This is a big reason why I'm talking about this right now. I wouldn't even come out and talk about this if it was just 365. I'd be like, wow, okay, I hit 365. But no, for me, this is something bigger. This is something way bigger, because I have seemingly inspired a vast amount of people. And I hope that one of you out there is inspired just enough to really go out and try to chase your dreams as well, because that's all it's about. Going back to before I was doing this and before I really had this as like a primary job, the way my schedule was set up is I would come home from work, I would hang out for a little bit, me and the wife would chill, and I would hop on a video game, and I'd be on that video game until 2 or 3 in the morning, and I would wake up and go to work, and same thing. That was my schedule. That was kind of my day-to-day. And then I realized how much time I was wasting. And it's not that I don't like video games, because still to this day I love video games. I don't play them often, ever. I haven't played them in a long time. But for me, video games was something I grew up with. So it's a huge thing to me, growing up playing those games. It's a fun pastime. What I did realize is it was wasting a lot of time. It was wasting a lot of time. And that time could be devoted to something way bigger, so I can start building a business for myself. That way I can be financially free sooner. That is the big goal. That is a big future goal. And that's the big future goal for a lot of people that start big passion projects like this, especially on social media. A lot of people want to do this as a job and as a serious business. That's where I am. I am trying to get this to turn into something that can both benefit people, but also benefit myself from all the hard work and time I've put into this. So going back just a little bit, back to this before we move on, 400K, that's a lot of people. 400,000 people. I don't think 400,000 people could stand in this field right here. That's how many people. That's a lot of people. And it kind of blows my mind. I had so many reels back to 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 back blow up. And like I said initially, it was an anomaly. It's 100% anomaly. And I don't need to really reiterate that fact. But I had like a month, I think my biggest month was like 46 million views in a month, which is absurd and unheard of. I don't know what happened. Instagram blew up. I went from 1,700 to 400K in a year. If this is something you want to do and you're going to try it and you're going to actually make it happen in 365, please do. Just know that this probably and might not happen to you as well. It all depends on a lot of things. A good, not friend, because I've never met him, but a good person in the world and in my space, his name is Jason Kirchie. And some of you may know him on the YouTubes and Instagram and everything else. Jason Kirchie used to be a really huge YouTuber back in the day for the overlanding space. And he made phenomenal content. I used to watch his stuff every single day that he would post. And I loved it. And then eventually at a certain point, he kind of fell off on YouTube and just didn't really want to post anymore. Or I don't know what happened. He might have gotten a job or something, but he kind of disappeared. And then he started posting on Instagram, and I noticed he was doing a daily challenge, the same as me. This was way before me. But he was doing the same thing. He was doing the 300, like just trying to post every single day and see how far it goes. And I think he was on day like 150 when I started. And he was a big inspiration for me just in general, just a decent human being. Never met him, but seems like a decent human being, and everything I've heard of him is good things. And he was posting every day. He was just posting like mini vlogs of his day, which was super cool, good to see. It was fun to watch, but he eventually got to 365, and he got to 365 around when I was at like 260 or I don't know what, 200, whatever I was at. And as soon as he hit 365, I think he realized that it wasn't working out, because it wasn't, which was super strange, because Jason Kirchie's a really good dude, and he makes really good stuff, but it just wasn't working out for him. A lot of his videos were not being seen anywhere. It was really actually kind of devastating to watch as a fan, just because I personally wish success amongst everybody. But for him specifically, like I know how hard he was working. He was working very, very hard to get this out every single day. And when he hit 365, I think he went on for about 20 more days and gave up, and called it quits on Instagram, and made an announcement video just saying he's not going to post anymore. And that really sucks. It really sucks, but the moral of the story is just because you post 365 days in a row does not necessarily mean that it's going to work out for you every single time. A lot goes into it. For him, I don't know what happened. I don't know. But for me, it has worked out. And I am eternally grateful for how much it's worked out. That is 730,000 total followers across all platforms. That blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. So let's move on. So what I'm gonna write down now is we're gonna go into talking about what I did before this. Okay. Usually I'm actually not really bad at drawing, but this is horrendous just because I'm trying to get it pretty quick. The sun's going down, so I kind of need to hurry this up just a tad. Okay, so work before I started doing this. I was I don't know if you can tell by that, but I was an apartment maintenance guy, basically a janitor kind of thing. I fixed your plumbing, your electrical, your everything. I was a handyman, right? I hated that job. And if you were one of my bosses back then, you know I hated that job. No disrespect to you, but I hated it. There's a reason why I hated it so much. Now, I don't say I hate things often, but when it comes to working a job, that was one thing I absolutely could not do. Me personally, The reason why I hated the job so much was not necessarily the job. It was not the people I worked with. It was not really a whole lot that has to do with work itself. The big thing is I knew I was meant for a whole lot more than this, a whole lot more. And so for me to wind up at work every single day, to do the same thing, to clock in for 8 to 9 to sometimes 14 hours a day, to come home with maybe 100 to 150 bucks was really devastating to me, because I knew I had untapped potential, and that time would deteriorate me. By the time I got home, I would be really exhausted and lethargic, and all I want to do is just escape, basically. And that's why I told you, I was playing video games for a long time, and that was kind of my escape when I would get home. So for me, work sucked, and all I wanted to do was go home and just escape it. But at a certain point, things kind of clicked a little bit, and I was like, man, I want to start using the time outside of work to really start working on my passions. So that's what happened, is I started working every hour outside of work, and every hour outside of work I was working, it was progressing me closer and closer to my goal. Well, eventually, and I think this was, I was working all the way up until about April, which was, 6 months into this whole year thing. And right about when I hit 6 months was when I said, this is time. Because I had a couple companies all reach out to me about the same time that wanted to work with me, that wanted to associate their brand with me, which was awesome. And they all paid me roughly around 4 to 6 months of wages that I would have made at my job. And I told myself, if I don't make it happen now, I will never. And so this was a perfect opportunity for me to really be serious and to see how much I'm committed to this whole thing. And so I quit my job. I said, nope, I am out. See ya. I'm not working anymore. And I started pursuing this full time. And what is this, you might ask? I don't know. I guess I camp for a living and take films and show them to you and try to inspire people to do the same. That's what I do for a living. I am a full-time filmmaker is what I call myself, a full-time travel filmmaker. I travel a lot, I go a lot of cool places, and I like you guys to see them as well. So, to speed things up, Keegan's happy. I'm very happy now. Things are great. Yeah, and I'm just constantly trying to evolve this into whatever. So far, it's just kind of been evolving how it is. I have a lot of plans for the future. This next year is going to be probably pretty crazy. It's going to be pretty crazy. It's probably going to be way crazier than this year. So a lot of things to prepare for. I have that same burning passion I started from day one to today. I really do. The passion is still there. I am extraordinarily excited about the future. I have so many things that I want to do. And I'm excited to bring every one of you guys along. This is not the end. I have a couple more things to talk about, but I'm so eternally grateful for this opportunity, and I cannot express to you guys enough how much this is going to kick off even more. So thanks for sticking around. Let's see. Okay, real quick, I just want to give out some shout outs to some people, and then we're going to talk about camera equipment. Okay, I had to look up some people, figure out how to spell their names. Okay, we are losing light, so I do need to kind of wrap this up, but a couple of things. First of all, we're going to talk about inspiration, and then we're going to talk about camera equipment, and then we'll talk about one more thing, and that'll be it. So if you're still here, thanks for being here. Yeah, let's get right on to the inspiration. So the inspiration, the whole way, obviously when you start something like social media, or you start posting things, or you do something creative, you kind of have to have some sort of inspiration guideline. You have to have somebody that kind of paves the way for you and how you think, for you to create something in your own personal way that is tandem to how kind of they express themselves. Like you liked how they express themselves in a certain thing, and so you take that inspiration from them and you start creating your own thing, trying to show appreciation towards them for what they do. So first, on Instagram, the two major people on Instagram, well, all these are Instagram people, but Tyler Wayne Glass. Tyler Wayne Glass, a lot of you guys probably know, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably follow Tyler Wayne Glass. He absolutely kills the game, period, bar none. He is one of the best at just capturing moments, at capturing time in and of itself, just like slow time essence. And it's absolutely wild to me how good he is at what he does. He has such an eye for just people and just going about their lives naturally and just showing like an organic scene and really putting emotion into what he does. Really like what he does. He is probably one of my favorite people on Instagram, if not my favorite. Nathan Lee Allen right underneath him. I kind of tied them two together just because they're buddies. They traveled the world together, and they're killing it together. Nathan Lee Allen right next to Tyler Wayne Glass doing the same thing. They both are equally good at capturing time. They really know how to just, see a moment and capture it as it is in a vertical format, which is very difficult to do because for me, I think horizontal, usually landscape capturing with film is really like such an easier way of doing things because you can have a whole scene, right? As opposed to just this one vertical thing. So for them, props to them. They absolutely are amazing at what they do. Recently, very recently, like a couple weeks ago, if not a month ago, I found out about Portrait Poppy. Portrait Poppy, he takes film photos of everything and is one of the best photographers I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with his work lately, but I originally saw him on Threads, just scrolling through there, and he takes some of the best stuff I've ever seen. So go check out Portrait Poppy. He takes everything on film. It's amazing. You should follow him. Peter McKinnon. Peter McKinnon, everyone knows Peter McKinnon. He is a legend. He just came out with a film about his eclipse shooting the eclipse with Red Bull. Holy shit. First of all, if you haven't seen that, go watch it after this. Crazy. This guy, there's so many things that I love about this guy. From Pete's Pirate Life, which is a huge thing to me, just kind of creating a personal brand that's really niche and really cool, has a cool aesthetic and everything, to just being like an aesthetic individual of like his lifestyle and just being a cool dude. So Peter McKinnon, awesome dude. Now going over here, this is all kind of like YouTube stuff. So starting from the bottom, my first ever inspiration for doing anything with film and video is Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat, obviously everybody knows who Casey Neistat is. He was the, what's that term called? He was the one that led the way, right? He is the one that created the creative, like, vlog style videos. And this is what I started doing at the very beginning, was kind of following in his footsteps and putting my own twist on it. But that died, as it did for many other people that try to do vlog style stuff. But Casey Neistat's a legend. Mr. Ballin, for those that don't know Mr. Ballin is a narrator. He just talks about stories, and he's an ex-military, so he's a veteran. He's a cool dude. Really love how much effort he puts into his work and everything. And then recently, like a couple months ago, Isabel Page. If you've seen Isabel Page on YouTube, she has some of the most phenomenal cinematics I've ever seen. It's absolutely inspirational. It's one of those things that I take inspiration from personally, because the way she sets up her shots, the way she has everything just like perfectly like colored, and I don't know how she does it. I really don't. But she shoots with the same camera that I do, and I wish she can teach me, because she's really freaking good at what she does. And then this guy, Martin Doulard or something like that. Martin Doulard. He's from somewhere in Europe, it looks like. He just literally takes videos of what he does every single day, or at least once a week. He puts out a video of him just like chilling at his house and building something, and they're phenomenal cinematic artworks, and I've never seen anything like it at all. So I would check him out if I were you. So that's enough with the inspiration. Thank you to a lot of these people. There's a lot more. If you didn't get put on this list, it's not because I forgot about you. It's because I am running out of light, and I'm trying to make this rather quick, and I was not totally prepared. So Okay, in the interest of time, I'm just going to put this down real quick. So for camera equipment, I'm gonna have a whole separate video talking about camera equipment. I know I've said this a lot, but I just need to go out and shoot it. I have a lot of camera equipment to go over, so expect this in the future. But real briefly, what I started off with was a little GoPro. It's like a GoPro Hero 5 or something. Black is like one of the first big cameras that came out that has stabilization, really big deal. I love that camera, but there were definitely like things that kind of didn't work and did work. So that's what I started shooting on. I started shooting with all my vlog stuff way back in the day with that. And then up until when I started this, I didn't put this down, but I had a Canon 90D, and it was DSLR, and I shot all my video and all my pictures and everything on that. And I was shooting just regular stuff on that. And then to today, I've learned a lot, because as you do this daily, as you do this for a full year straight as your main thing, you learn a ton. And so because of a lot of things, because of the situation I was set up with, thankfully, I was able to afford an FX3. FX3 is a Sony cinema camera, whatever you want to call it. It is a small compact camera. It's the one that I'm filming right now. It is absolutely insane. But you don't need to, but you should be shooting like log footage. So for those that don't understand what that means, it just means it's like everything I'm shooting right now is kind of like a blank gray slate. And it kind of protects the dynamic range of the coloring. So it keeps your coloring as crazy and good as possible. And then you have to color everything in post. So it's pretty crazy. It's a really good camera, but there's a lot more work that goes into just filming on this camera. But like I said, I was learning a lot along the way. So if you guys want to know specifically about every single thing that I use on my camera gear, don't you worry, because that video is coming very soon, probably within the next month or two. And then additionally, what I edited on is DaVinci Resolve. So anybody who's curious about that, DaVinci Resolve. Lastly, one of the last things I want to talk about, and then the sun's gonna go down, and then I'm gonna go home, edit this, and put this out. All right, this is the final thing that I want to talk about, and hopefully you can see it. It says, "You can do it." One of the quotes that I adopted, I kind of made myself over this 365 days, was, "Don't be small in such a big world." And some of you may have seen that somewhere on my account, because it's on my profile bio and everything, but it is something that I strive to accomplish every single day of my life. Don't be small in such a giant, big world. This world is huge. There's 8 billion people. It's really hard for you to stand out, and I totally understand. But what I also understand after doing this for 365 days is you can do it. You can. The person watching this right now or listening to this right now, if you are listening to this, you should know, and everybody else, that you can do it. It is 100% possible. There's nothing that is stopping you from doing what you want to do with your passions and your love, and like anything that you have a burning desire to do. You should just go out and do it. Make the time, make the effort, because in that year from today, in that year after today, when you've started and you've committed to this thing, you're gonna look back and you're gonna appreciate it so much that you actually gave it an effort. And even if you gave it an effort and it didn't work out, at least you tried. At least you're putting effort towards something, right? And this is no diss to anybody, but this is something just to tell you, if you have been in a spot or a rut or somewhere where you're just like, I don't know what to do, but I have ideas, act on the first idea that comes to your head. This is what happened to me. I started by just acting. I took this idea of, I want to do something, I want to film everything I want to do, and I just ran with it. You should have seen the first 30 days. In fact, if you want to, you can go on my Instagram right now, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you would see the first 30 days. The first 30 days are rough, specifically the first 2 weeks, because the first 2 weeks was like the most random shit I've ever put on social media ever. At one point, I had my shirt off, I was in a blizzard, holding myself like this, and I was talking about being uncomfortable. It is stuff like that that really will take you to the next level in anything that you want to do. So, I am a huge proponent for people doing their passions and doing them seriously and taking them head on and really trying and really giving it an effort, because anybody can do anything in the world. If you want to achieve something, you can do it. It is 100% possible. It just takes time, and it depends on your time frame. And that is one other big thing I want to bring up real briefly. During these 365 days, it's really easy, really simple, and really prevalent to get yourself envious of other people. You become envy of people's progress, specifically my progress. I seen my progress was going like crazy and other people's wasn't, and I had people reaching out to me like, how do you do it? Like, what are you supposed to do? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I am just doing it. I am just doing it, and that is all I'm doing. You know, remember Shia LaBeouf a couple years ago when he made that like meme and he was like, just do it, make your dreams come true? That is so insanely true. We all made a meme out of it, but it is so insanely true nowadays. Just go out there, just make it happen for yourself. It's going to work out eventually. It might not be in the same time frame as me. Mine is an anomaly once again, but as long as you try, like a year from now, I guarantee you'll make progress. And it might be small, it might be ginormous, but it's at least progress. And then from there, you can take that and you can run with it even more. And I promise it will work out. It will work out eventually. You just need to start. So really, all I wanted to do was come out here. I wanted to thank you guys so much for being here, specifically on YouTube, since this is where everyone's going to probably see this the most. I'll put a teaser thing on Instagram. So thank you to the people on Instagram. Thank you to the people on TikTok for you guys supporting me, engaging with my stuff for this last year, and really just showing the love. Like, you guys have shown so much love, and I felt it the whole time. You guys are incredible. I'm eternally grateful. I am mind blown at where I'm at only a year into this, and this next year is going to be even more insane. So one last thing I want to talk about real brief before we lose the sun is sacrifice. This is going to take a lot of sacrifice. It took a lot of sacrifice for me, and that sacrifice was to take up every ounce of time that I had outside of work and outside of everything else, to really devote to this. You're going to lose relationships, you're going to lose friends, you're going to lose people that you used to be close to, you're going to lose the people that don't understand. But the people that stick with you to the end, the people that are there, the people that constantly are by your side during the entire progress of you becoming your best self, those are the people you want by your side in the end. So keep them with you. All the rest of the people that either belittle you or demean you or think it's dumb or stupid that you're chasing your dreams, you can tell them to fuck off respectfully. Just give them one of these, and then proceed on your day and make it happen. And I will be right there supporting you side by side, hoping it works out for you. So with that being said, I want to take a quick second to just thank my wife. My wife has been a huge proponent of my success. Without her, I would not be as successful as I am right now. So you don't see her as often because she works a 9 to 5 at home, working from home. So she is usually not on the trips with me because it's hard for her to get PTO. I would have her in every trip if I could, but unfortunately I can't. So the sacrifice she's put into this for her to accept the fact that I'm going to be gone a lot, and I'm going to be mentally and physically gone a lot, has been insane. And for her to just continue on to cook for me and kind of do the things that cook, clean, do all the things that I should be doing, but kind of just taking that off my plate so I can have more time to focus on this. It's been extraordinarily important, and there's nothing I can do to thank her nearly enough. So that is one thing I want to bring up. She doesn't get brought up too often on here, only because she's not on here that often. But soon that will be a change, hopefully. I don't know, she's probably not going to be in my videos that often, but she's side by side with me, and that's all that matters really in the end. And I'm making this happen for both of us because she deserves it equally as much as I do. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys waited all the way to the end, you watched this all the way to the end, you guys are absolute legends. Thank you, seriously. And yeah, look out for my new video coming next week. It's going to be of all the fall colors, Utah, Colorado, and the Tetons. It is an absolute banger video, so you guys are going to want to watch this video. That'll probably be out next week, so be prepared for that. And then after that, we're heading to somewhere else, which you guys are probably going to enjoy, and it's just going to keep going up from here. So anyway, you can do it. I did it. You can do it. Everybody can do it. I promise. Get it done. Make it happen. And thank you so much for being here. See you guys.